Hello and welcome to Segments with Mark and Amber. Segments is a comedy podcast where in each episode, Amber and I choose a topic and we talk about it in a variety of segments. My name is Mark, and with me, as always, is my co-host, my wife, Amber.
Yay, here I am.
Amber, you're back with us again.
Segments is also a podcast that makes Amber feel better about all the thousands of hours she spent watching TV. I just listened to the sitcom episode earlier today, and
nice.
I like those quizzes. I can answer them well.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like all those hours.
It's validating.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you think our show should be only about sitcoms?
No, because not everybody's probably invested the time that I have to television, but I appreciate it.
Have you done that kind of like Malcolm Gladwell, spend 10,000 hours on something and you become an expert?
I don't know. 10,000 hours is a lot.
It's a lot. Wonder where you're at.
I don't know. Could be close.
Yeah, that'd be great.
This is episode 26 of Segments, and our topic today is hobbies and collections. That topic idea was sent in by our listener, Amy.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. I am very excited about this topic as I've been preparing for this show. I just maybe similar to how you felt about the sitcom episode.
Yeah.
Like to me, I was like, oh, I get to talk about all these great things that I enjoy. And we get a little bit nostalgic and we have a little bit of fun, and I'm excited about the top 5. So
awesome. So I had a harder time coming up with my hobbies, but that's because I've spent so much time watching TV. I did not count TV watching as a hobby. So the format of today's show, we are going to go over our top 5 hobbies and collections, and then we're going to have a quiz. This time, I created the quiz.
Whoa.
I know.
I'm very excited about that.
But before we get to that, we have some corrections and apologies and a little bit of feedback from our last episode.
Okay. So Aaron sent in this correction via text. Not everybody communicates to us via text, but you are more than welcome to. If you know our numbers, we're not going to post those out there, but some people. So Aaron let us know that Amber said that in a Friends episode, Joey had a Ferrari.
A pretend
Ferrari. And that is not true, says Aaron. He says it was actually a Porsche.
Yeah, I think he's right.
You think he's right, or do you kind of research that?
I didn't research it, but it sounds right. I can hear Joey. I don't know if he said Porsche or Porsche, but he definitely got into the Porsche. That makes sense.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thanks, Aaron, for keeping Amber on the straight and narrow there. We appreciate that.
I am not what you'd call a gearhead.
Yeah, this is not click and clack. But,
no. If you showed me a Ferrari and a Porsche right next to each other, I don't know if I could tell them apart.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Just close your eyes and picture a Ferrari.
Okay.
Done?
Yeah.
Now picture a Porsche.
I picture a Porsche with like a little bit more bumps and curves.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
And Ferraris are kind of low to the ground and sleek, like little missiles.
Porsches are low to the ground and sleek too, probably. Less low, more bumpy.
Well, I guess there's a number of different Porsche versions. I was always a 928 guy. Porsche
oh my gosh.
928. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Look at you.
But anywho,
great.
I'm a bit of a gearhead. So that's the only correction. So thanks again, Aaron. We got some feedback as well. Barb, via the segment's Facebook page, said she really enjoyed the last podcast, and here are her top 5 sitcoms. You ready for this, Amber?
Yes.
Bob Newhart.
Which I think is the previous version, not Newhart.
I think that is when he is a psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist.
Yeah, or
yes.
psychologist. Who knows?
Yes.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Mm-hmm.
She's big on MTM. I did not realize that. I talked to her about that, and she thinks it was a groundbreaking and life-altering, world-altering show.
Wow. I think having a female main character of a show, that was pretty
Yeah, I think that
deal.
and her disdain for hats, she would just throw them about willy-nilly. And I think that people were very surprised by that. A lot of proper people would never throw a hat up into the sky like that.
What's this crazy girl going to do next?
Exactly. Golden Girls.
Did you watch very much Golden Girls?
You know what? Truth be told, Amber, my friend Mark and I did watch a fair amount
It's
of Golden
funny.
Girls. It is pretty good.
You wouldn't think. I mean, because I was certainly young when I was watching it.
Yeah.
But they're pretty funny.
That's pretty good. Well-written show.
I don't think they're that old now that I'm getting older.
Oh, hello.
I mean, they're all still around. That was quite a while ago.
All of them?
Maybe the Sophia's not, but they have some pretty solid comedy. Rose and her weird bumpkin ways, and
Aaron is already sending that correction email right now.
That they're not all alive.
She also likes Andy Griffith, which Andy Griffith almost made my list.
Really?
It's so
You've
good.
got to be kidding me.
It's so good. Barney Fife, Andy Griffith, little guy, Ron Howard, whatever. Opie. The whole show is so good.
Man, I guess because it's black and white, I just can't.
Yeah, Amber, I think you need to get you got to get over your disdain for black and white because there's a lot of quality stuff out there.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. Thanks Barb, for your feedback.
Absolutely. Our next one was from Amy. She was saying that she finally got a chance to listen to the ice cream episode.
Ah.
And in there, we had mentioned that you remembered her husband John's gaming name.
That's right.
It's always Dutch or TRR Dutch.
I wonder what TRR is.
She doesn't know.
Okay.
Her favorite ice cream is a tie between Moose Tracks and Jamocha Almond Fudge.
Jamocha Almond Fudge. I don't even know what that could be.
I feel like that might be like a Baskin-Robbins kind of flavor. I've definitely seen it.
What even is Jamocha? Like I've
kind
heard
of coffee-like. Have you ever had the Jamocha shake at Arby's?
I have not.
Oh, that's real good.
Okay,
but don't have it late at night because it's got some caffeine.
So you're thinking that maybe there's like a coffee-ish ice cream with some almonds and fudge in there.
Yeah. It would be good, except for the almonds.
I wouldn't mind. I like a good almond.
So thank you,
awesome.
Amy.
Brian said
may not have listened to his winning episode yet. He hasn't commented.
Oh, really nice, Brian. Come on, get with it. He loves Home Improvement. He liked Tim Allen's character, had fun with whatever he was doing. He liked how good-hearted it was, and I agree. There was something kind of just comforting and relaxing. Like, I feel like in that era, like sitcoms had just... It was just
the problem resolution. It made you feel like everything was coming together. You had your little wisdom from Wilson at the end. What helped him go back in, apologize to Jill, make things up to the kids or Al.
Yeah,
everything's okay again.
Yeah, I agree. So that's a good one. I think we talked about Home Improvement a little bit on the last episode.
And Detroit and Michigan. Is that where it took place? In Detroit, Michigan? I know he's from Michigan.
I don't recall that.
He said having some love for Detroit and Michigan made it a great show.
Maybe Tim would like wear a sweatshirt.
Oh, I
or
for
something.
sure think he would. Lions and tigers and whatnot.
Bears, oh my. And so thanks for that, Brian. Audrey said she likes The Office.
Exclamation point. Raise the roof emoji hands. I don't know what
I think those are worship hands. That's what I always see them as.
Worshiping The Office.
Oh, Audrey, settle down. So The Office got a lot of love.
And we loved it.
We both
had it on our list.
Many of our friends. So who else said The Office? Arwen said The Office. And I thought somebody else, but I can't see it right now.
Josh, our son Josh.
Oh, our son Josh watched The Office. It's it's a great show. Apparently people from all walks of life, all generations love The Office.
Absolutely.
Hey, Mr. Scott, what you gonna do? What you gonna do to make your dreams come true?
Somebody mentioned the episode where they go to the dinner party at Michael and Jan's, and she's got like candles. Jan gets super weird. Man. She's so funny.
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh my goodness. Connie Dembski said Parks and Rec. Now that was so close. Parks and Recreation, or I guess it's called Parks and Rec. Does anybody know what I'm talking about when I say Parks and Rec? That was really close to making my list. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of a spin-off of The Office, or similar to The Office, not a spin-off.
Yeah, had that same kind of mockumentary
creators,
feel to it, which is great. I loved all the characters. I don't know if I've seen every episode of Parks and Rec. I've seen everyone I've really enjoyed. But
yeah, it had some great characters.
I'm sure
That's where Chris Pratt came from.
I'm pretty sure I watched them all on Netflix.
I think you did.
So
make your way through it.
Adam said he liked Arrested Development. Did that not make either of our lists?
It did not. It was really close for me, and I think it might have ranked higher than some of the ones I chose, but I already talked about Arrested Development quite a bit when it was the thing making me happy when the new season was coming out, so I just didn't want to talk about it again.
Okay, and he also likes Parks and Rec, and he said Scrubs are excellent sitcoms that did not make the cut for the segment's hosts.
Yeah,
Scrubs was a great one.
Scrubs is really good. Are those only half-hour shows?
Yes.
Does a sitcom have to be only half hour? I don't know if we just established that. I also remember Scrubs as having a lot of poignancy. I cried watching Scrubs multiple times, but I do think most of it was funny.
Do you remember the couch in?
Yes.
Man, I can't.
I feel like we might
Turk and
JD's
apartment was the same couch that we had when we were youngly married.
I think we might have talked about that because I think I picked JD and Turk as one of my friends that I liked on pop culture.
That's one of the stories that keeps coming around on Segments Podcast. So.
And Adam and Tara had that couch.
Laura said her favorite sitcom, same as yours, Friends.
Oh, like mother, like daughter.
There you go. And Sarah.
This one surprised me.
Sarah, our big fan and lovely bride, Sarah. Mm-hmm. Her and her new husband, James, currently watching MASH.
That's a hard one for me. That's like Andy Griffin in my mind, even though it is...
It's not Andy Griffin. It's Andy Griffith.
I don't care.
So when you're watching MASH, it might as well be black and white. It's pretty much what you're telling me.
Yeah. There's something about the theme song that just screams boredom. But I think I would probably like it. I have a hard time pushing past. I think when I was a kid, it was just like the most boring thing I could think of to be on television that my parents were watching.
Yeah, it's definitely not a show that's going to draw kids in, but it does have amazing writing. It's got amazing actors and also a lot of poignancy in that. So what else does Sarah like? Parks and Rec, of course, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So cool. Well, thanks everybody for your feedback. So Amber, let's jump right into... what's making you happy right now?
Yeah, Mark, what's making you happy?
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I received a book for my birthday called Paul Simon, The Life by Robert Hilburn. And it's a biography, but more than a biography, it's kind of talking about how his songwriting process and talking about kind of going more in depth on some of what the songs mean and what he was going through when he wrote them and stuff. And so I'm not very far. I'm just started it really, but I already learned some of his interests as a kid and kind of him coming to terms with being shorter than most people. And he actually wanted to be a baseball player.
Oh, really?
And he was very successful through high school, but once he got to college, his size, it was just too much to overcome.
Oh, no.
And so, but at that time, he'd already started kind of picking up the guitar and kind of being into the rock and roll. And it was just very interesting. And come to find out, he's not, when he first started, he wasn't very good at writing songs. Like, it wasn't easy. It didn't just come easy. He worked and worked and worked at it. And it says his first big song was The Sound of Silence, which we are all familiar with.
Yes.
And he would, you know how that song starts, Hello Darkness, My Old Friend.
Yes.
And he had a habit of, to relax or just to kind of get away from the stress, he would go into the bathroom of his house, turn the lights off, and just play his guitar.
Oh, cool.
And so, and it said he was playing and writing songs for 6 years before he wrote The Sound of Silence. And
wow.
So when you think, Hello Darkness, My Old Friend, you can just kind of picture him sitting in this pitch black
oh my gosh.
bathroom, just kind of writing that song.
That's exactly what you want out of that book.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see where that goes. And I just, obviously talked about it on the show a few episodes ago, going to see Paul Simon, and it's just such a fun show, and I'm excited about learning a little bit more about him.
Yeah, that's so neat. He's such a storyteller in his songs, or he has some lyrics that are kind of odd, or you wonder where they came from. So I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah, and I like that it kind of opens with this. He wasn't this kind of natural, you could never do what he does because he's just so brilliant. But man, he just worked at it, and grew, and now he's incredible. Obviously there's natural talent there, but he really worked at it, and it gives hope for us other just regular guys that want to do something exceptional. That, man, if we put the time in, who knows what we could do. Yeah,
for sure. Here's a little sports talk with Amber. Do you think that if he would have made it into baseball, he would have actually done well? I don't know if it's do well, but I do think it'd be harder for pitchers to pitch to somebody who's a lot shorter than what they're used to. You probably get a lot of walks. And this concludes Sports Talk with Amber.
So, Adam, if you could just let us know what you think about that. If we should just maybe get the Tigers and just fill them up with just very, very short people.
Yeah.
And then maybe they would just dominate. And I don't know if anybody else has thought that through all the way. So
you could put a few in the lineup and then have a really heavy hitter come in. Everybody's already walked, but he'd have to do a home run because they have to run with those little legs all the way around.
Maybe they could get Muggsy Bogues back in to play. I think he was a very short basketball player.
Really?
Yeah.
I do not know that name.
Somebody will let us know, I'm sure. Aaron is scouring the internet right now to correct me on that, I'm sure. So, anywho, there you go. Well, that's what's making me happy, Amber. Paul Simon, The Life by Robert Hilburn. What's making you happy?
What's making me happy? Well, as promised, I do have a little tidbit from the new season of Big Brother, Big Brother 20, that's making me happy. Oh, this is a correction as well. Last time I said that I thought that it started the year that Josh was born, but no, that couldn't be right because we're on season 20. It did. It started in the summer of 2000. That's when Josh was born. I was correct. So my correction is that I thought I wasn't correct in the last episode. They've just thrown in some multiple seasons within a year.
Gotcha.
Which gets us up to 20. So the big trick with this Big Brother 20 is there's not a big trick. There's not a big trick. There's not a big twist.
Okay.
They're not doing like a mega-sized 20 house guests. They're not doing all-stars or return players, which we kind of thought they might. The theme this season is technology.
Okay.
But as we like to joke, the technology looks like it's from 1999. Yeah. It's not very cool-looking technology. But one thing they had to do, for the first time ever, they gave this girl a punishment the first or second day in the house, and she had to become a computer or a robot.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So they sequestered her off in a small room where nobody else was with her, and she just was this remote-controlled robot with a camera so she could see everybody, and that's how she had to exist for the most part for an entire week in the house. And it's the time when everybody's forming their alliances and getting to know each other, and she's just a robot, and she felt really sad, and she's got this twangy southern accent. Her name is Sam, and she just didn't want to be a robot.
Yeah. That's a very good Sam. Yeah, I felt really bad for her being in the robot.
Yeah.
But looks like she's doing pretty well.
She stayed. So that's what's
good.
making me happy is they didn't vote Sam out. They voted Steve out. I don't want to see anybody go first. That's just sad. You want to be there
Steve.
longer. Steve wanted to be there all summer. Summer of Steve, but he was not. So that, and then in addition to the Big Brother bit, I'm super happy that my family is all here in town.
Yeah,
My brother that lives
so
across
fun.
the country is here. My other brother, my mom. We're about to head off to a family vacation tomorrow.
Yeah.
Saugatuck, Michigan, a cute little touristy town. We're going to stay there for a week. We rented a big old house, and I'm just excited. We're going to...
Amber, you said where we're going now. All the segment fans are going to be, descending on Saugatuck looking for us now.
Well, the good thing is, I don't think this episode's going to come out till after we get back.
Okay, that's okay. Good then.
Phew. You can try to go and imagine where we might have been in Saugatuck.
Maybe we should call our fans something. Segmentopians, segmentophiles,
Mini segments.
segmentons.
Seggies.
Seggies. I definitely don't think it should be seggies.
Why not? Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. It sounds leaning that way.
The Mentos.
Let's try it. Hey, seggies. Nope.
How about Mentos?
Mentos?
Segmentos.
Mentos. All right. Hey, if you've got a better name for segments fans, we would love your feedback.
What else goes with like a orange? The pulp. Pulpers. Juice.
Juicers. Hey, juicers. Hey. Okay. Well, there's
All right,
nothing
we're
there.
gonna keep thinking on that.
Keep working on that.
All right. That's what's making me happy. Family and Big Brother.
Segment 1. Top 5 hobbies and collections. All right, Amber, this is the segment where we do a top 5. We count down our top 5 things.
Oh, I'm so glad you described that for everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome, Seggies.
Oh, no, I laughed too loud.
Yeah, you laughed very loud. You blew out the speaker, but it's going to be all right. All right, Amber, I started last episode, and so I would like you to start with your number 5.
Okay. My number 5 is a hobby that I was super into for a while, but I haven't done in a long time. So, as I mentioned, I didn't have an automatic, easy to come up with 5. I didn't come up with 21 and have to whittle it down to 5.
Okay.
I just barely scraped by with 5. So, a hobby that I used to be heavily invested in, I can still reap some of the benefits of, is scrapbooking.
Scrapbooking. Yeah, you were big on scrapbooking.
Yeah, so it was around the time that Emma was born that everybody was super into. It was called Creative Memories. Mm-hmm. And you'd go to Creative Memories parties, kind of like you'd go to Tupperware parties, and they would sell you some of their supplies, and you would work on your pages there. And that was back in the age where everybody printed their pictures.
Yes.
In fact, I think when I started, it was probably still in the age where you took a picture, you had no idea whether or not it turned out, and you sent it to Meijer or whatever.
The dark
Do you remember?
ages,
I remember
yes.
going to Meijer, and it was just in the regular aisles with all the other stuff. There'd be like a section with people's photos, and you would paw through them yourself.
That's right.
And I remember like finding somebody else's photos one time that I knew and looking at them.
Amber, that's
I
illegal,
know.
I think.
Well-
That's a federal crime.
Is it? It seemed like it should be, but nobody was stopping me. I didn't buy them, but I could have. Somebody could just buy your photos. It's really weird.
That is strange.
Nobody ID'd
Yeah,
me to
I-
make sure they were my photos.
I do remember that.
There must have been enough people that did that now you do have to get them from behind a counter.
Yeah, and probably so few people actually print out any photos that they don't want to dedicate an entire wall of the
That
store
too.
to that.
That too.
Hey, what's this bare, empty wall? Well,
Yeah.
that's where people used to get their pictures. Now we just
Yep.
no
So you
joke.
take pictures of an event, and then you would put them on a scrapbook page. You'd cut them with special decorative scissors. You'd have to attach them with adhesive tape that wasn't going to yellow or wear out, and then you would decorate the page with stickers and fun sayings and
Yeah.
captions.
Seems like a great creative
Outlet.
hobby
Yeah.
outlet. So
Yeah, I made a baby book for all three kids.
Yeah,
It was really,
they're
and this
wonderful.
is definitely the biggest, but I'm happy I got one in for Molly, even though she was kid number 3. And then I have probably 3 other ones that are just general pictures that probably only goes up to, I don't know, the first 5 years of our kid's life at the most.
yeah, you should do a
And then I stopped.
scrapbook of our
Family vacation?
No,
Oh.
well, that's not what I was thinking. That would be a good one. But I was thinking our Israel trip.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's Israel stickers.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
Well, there used to be scrapbook stores all over.
yeah.
Now I'm sure you could try to order
sure
them on Amazon.
Or Hobby
There's still a
Lobby
big
or Michael's. And we
big
have
aisle
some
at
friends
Hobby
right in
Lobby.
our neighborhood
Yes.
that are still, they go away for a week every
That's
year doing scrapbooking
Imagine
and
how
stuff.
many
so.
albums they have
Oh,
by
my
now.
goodness. That'd be
I
fun.
used to do it with them, but that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Huh.
Awesome, Amber.
So yeah, that was a fun hobby. That was my number 5, scrapbooking.
Awesome. My number 5, Amber, is a collection, not a hobby so much, but a collection from when I was younger. I would collect wooden boats. So
Really?
my love of boats and the boating lifestyle
Oh, yeah.
has gone way back. And so these are not like model boats that you would put together yourself. These are little wooden keepsake boats that you get whether you're on vacation. Like maybe it's a fishing trawler or a sailing boat.
So you'd be
And-
able to get them at like a souvenir shop.
like a souvenir shop, and the ones, they're usually 6 or 7 inches long.
that's a good size. That's bigger than I
3
was
or 4 inches tall, and you could get smaller ones, but they would be painted, and they'd have little thread that would be the rigging and
Okay.
that kind of stuff. And I just loved boats. I loved the idea of boats. I loved just kind of thinking about what would it be like to be on this boat. And I don't know, I didn't have like 100 of them or anything, but I probably had a 2 dozen boats that I'd collected over the years. And
That's cute.
yeah, so my number 5, it's just fun to remember that. And I haven't seen any of them in a long time. I can picture this one fishing boat that I had. I think John had one, the exact same one. His had red on the bottom, and mine had green, and it had these little nets. And anyway, cool. There you
I
go.
wonder how that started. There was probably at one point where they were just like, oh, let's get the boys a souvenir. And you got the boat, and then you really liked it. So then the next time they're like, well, do you want to get another boat? You seem to like that. And
Yeah.
it just kind of started from there.
It may have started with our family vacation when we went to Maine.
Yeah.
And obviously, what are you going to get in Maine? You're going to get a little wooden boat.
Yeah.
And you're going to love it. And so,
Seems a lot more likely that you maybe found multiple ones on that same trip along the coast.
yeah, maybe that was the only time I actually got a boat. I can't.
I mean, living in Michigan, you could go to a lot of places where they'd have boats. I think if you're vacationing in like Nebraska or something, they might not have boats in their
That's true.
gift shops.
Well, I don't have much more to say about that, but it was a real fond memory when I was thinking about
Aw.
things. I was like, I can get a little nostalgic sometimes.
Did you play with them or just keep them on a shelf?
I would do both. They weren't like the right size to put like your G.I. Joe figures on or anything,
Right.
and so you could kind of push them around, but
Sure.
mostly you would hold it and dream about being on a boat.
Aw, and your
So-
Olakais.
My old guys, exactly. So
Okay,
my
cool.
number 5, wooden boats.
Great. My number 4, hobby and collectible. Maybe it's more of a collectible than a hobby. It is my new letterboard.
Oh,
Just got it for
that's
Christmas.
great.
It's felt. It's a kind of a square. No, it's a rectangle. Felt with little lined creases in it. And then you buy these plastic letters and accessories that go into the creases on the felt, and you can spell out different quotes and sayings. And right now I have a family vacation countdown
Nice.
on my letterboard. I did a romantic-y saying for our anniversary. Mm-hmm. Did a happy birthday to Molly.
It wasn't like explicit or anything, because the kids are still in the house.
Yeah, wait till they leave. Boy, oh boy. No, I said it was a song lyric. I'm lucky to be in love with my best friend.
That's right.
That's
so
very
sweet.
nice. Yes. I just really like the look of it, and I like that you get different fonts and size letters and different colors, and you kind of mix them up on there. Then you can get some whole words that are written out in different fonts and script, and I always try to find a quote where I can use one of those words because I like the way it looks.
Yeah, I love it. When you change, I don't know if you change it weekly or every couple weeks or something, but I'm always excited to see what you come up with, and it's just a fun little. Usually, it's kind of motivational or encouraging, and it's great to
I
see
haven't
that.
done anything depressing yet.
No, but maybe you could do that, and just see if anybody notices.
Hey, you losers! Is anybody else going to clean the kitchen? I have it on an easel in the kitchen.
Yeah, that would be great. That'd get your point across.
So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. When I first saw them, they were at Target, and there was a whole bunch of them. It looked like the display was just getting started, and I couldn't wait. I was going to get some for Christmas, and I saw them a couple other places, and by Christmas, they were completely gone. You couldn't buy them anywhere. Nobody even had empty spots for them. It's like they didn't exist, and now they're slowly coming back. I see them different places. I see them online quite a bit.
Yeah, I got you those. Was it for our anniversary? Maybe I got you some new accessories, letters, and stuff from. Oh, where was that? Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, so they've had a couple, but they didn't have any at Christmas, and it's like a slow trickle in. So what I'm hoping is it was super popular, completely sold out. They didn't have enough supply. Then they had to go through the whole manufacturing process, and it's now going to continue to grow. Yeah, like the new scrapbooking thing.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, anyway, I did follow another podcast, and they use one for their podcast title every time.
I really like that.
Yeah,
that's really cool. We could do that.
Yeah, and you get a separate one that's just designated to segments, and then all we have to change out is the title and stuff.
Yeah, good idea.
So anyway, that was my number 4. It's called a letterboard.
Awesome. My number 4 is something that I did when I was in high school, and we. Just kidding. So every week in high school for multiple years, we would take a weekly trip it was like Tuesday after school. We would leave Otsego and we would drive to Kalamazoo to either go to Flipside Records or Hole in the Wall Records to buy albums. And then the whole group did it. There's like usually 6-7 of us would head up to Kalamazoo, and we would look for all sorts of things. We bought kind of that 90s pop punk, The Descendants and All and Green Day and Urge Overkill and Firehose and all this kind of random stuff.
You buy some classics like Simon and Garfunkel or Michael Jackson or something like that too.
Yeah, you'd find that in the used bin,
right?
And so you have a wide variety of things, and you'd look for like colored vinyl. I remember getting a Sam I Am album that was blue, and sometimes they would etch something on the inside of the vinyl right next to the cardboard circle and a word or something, and you'd always look for that. And I remember getting a Green album that Green Day put out, and it was just exciting, and there's just a variety of things. But there's something great about a record, right? Like it's got the pictures are big, and it often has an insert with the lyrics on it, and it's fun to listen to records. It just sounds better than MP3s. It sounds better than CDs and cassettes, and I don't know why it is. There's a warmth to it almost, and I just loved just collecting those. And we'd go to our friend's house and look through their record collection and put a record on, and it was just the best. And Mark and I we're religious about our record collections and keeping them alphabetized or looking through. It was just a great hobby, and I still have most of those records out in the garage. I got a record player a few years ago And I got all the records out and listened to some of them, but I've kind of moved past, my musical interest. I've kind of moved past that, and so I didn't listen to very much of them. And if I had space, I would display them and maybe start collecting records again. But
yeah, I think part of the problem is that we've got these smartphones now that take all of our attention. You don't have the time. I'm just going to sit and listen to a record, We feel so busy because we've got something to do all the time in our pocket.
Yeah.
Do you think that the time period you were into that, was that still a time when most people had record players, or did you have to go out and buy one?
It was after cassettes, CDs were popular, but like there was this kind of underground alternative people that were just super into records. And now records are really making a comeback. You can buy them at Barnes & Noble. You can buy them all over the place.
Yeah.
And people really like records again. But this was a little bit before that, and it was kind of the cool thing to not buy CDs.
Right.
Not buy Whitney Houston and not buy the things that...
Ace of Base.
Definitely not buy Ace of Base. So it was great. It was a really, really good time. So my number 4 hobby collection... records.
That's neat. We were talking to our family who's visiting, and Bobby Joe mentioned that you have a lot of nostalgia. You really are a fan of nostalgia, and you bring that up a lot. I mean, I think I do too, but I think it's sweet how you have a lot of nice past memories with emotion attached.
I've had a pretty good life, that's for sure.
Well, number 3. My number 3 hobby is something that I've only done once. Is that a hobby?
I don't think it's the traditional definition of a hobby, but...
It's my brand new hobby. It's going to be life-changing.
I'm very excited.
I'm going to dedicate so much time to it. I'm planning to do it multiple times on vacation.
Okay.
It is rock painting.
Oh, that's a great hobby.
So we were visiting Mark's dad and stepmom up north a few weeks ago, and there was an event going on at their local library about rock painting. And in the picture, they were these really cool designed rocks, mostly painted with different colored dots. So we went to the library, and they just had like kid paintbrushes and some paint there. But luckily, Sue, that's Mark's stepmom's friend, brought along a bunch of pencil erasers with push pins stuck in them, different size push pins. So what you do is you paint the rock, you paint a black circle in the middle of the rock, and then you put some different color paint on a paper plate, and you dip the end of the pin, the ball part of the pin, in the paint, and then you put it on the rock, and you make different dotted designs.
Wow.
And we had found some pictures on Pinterest. There's a lot on Pinterest if you start looking at it, but it's like a mandala design, which starts with a circle in the middle, and then it builds up with different circles. You can do a shape in the middle, like a cross or a heart, and then do circles around it. And it was really fun.
So mandala is not necessarily something that you worship demons with.
I mean, I think it depends on the order and the color of your dots if you want to actually.
So you could inadvertently.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
You're very careful.
You got to be careful. You got to not do too much of the black or the red. Those are kind of the demon colors.
Mm-hmm. That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the sound of that word sounds dangerous.
Yes, like Enneagram.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. Or yoga.
Or Seggies. So,
all right, Seggies, send in your mandalas. Ah!
Oh my goodness. So I'm excited to delve into this hobby. We've got some new paints. I found some dot making utensils that are actually used for nail art for manicures, but many people commented that they used them for rock painting on Amazon.
Nice.
So I can't wait to give it a shot. Maybe we'll post a picture on the segments page of our rocks.
That would be awesome.
So my number 3 brand new hobby, rock painting.
Amber, I'm really glad that you have a new hobby. I'm excited to see that explode in our house, be filled with painted rocks. Hopefully not too many of the inadvertently Satan-worshipping ones.
Yeah, we'll keep those outside.
I'm not sure that's a good joke. It seems funny to me. Will it make the cut? I don't know. My number 3, mask. I love masks. I like to put on tiger masks no, just kidding.
Oh, my word.
Mask, the greatest toy of the 1980s.
Yes.
So this was, I've talked about it before, of course, these vehicles that would transform into some other vehicle, and the guys had these masks or helmets that would shoot lasers and do all sorts of stuff. And I had a bunch. I had Condor, which is this green motorcycle turned into a helicopter, and I had Rhino, which was a semi-truck that turned into an assault vehicle. I had this black Corvette, and Piranha, which was this motorcycle with a sidecar that turned into a submarine, and all that. Had a bunch of, and it was just like there's something about this toy, and I won't go on and on about it because I talk about it a lot on our podcast for some reason. Like there's something about this toy that just captured my attention, and it was the 80s, and so a lot of things transformed. You know, that was a big deal. GoBots and Transformers, and now here's Mask, and anyway. But there was something about this thing, and the cartoon was fantastic, and it just grabbed me. And so I loved collecting these. And our next door neighbor, Ben McKenzie, he would have some, and so we would play together. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting. They were smaller. Star Wars or G.I. Joe characters are going to be your 3 3/4 inch.
Yeah.
These were a little bit small. I don't know what they were, 2.5 or 2 3/4. I don't know how tall the figures were, but they were fantastic. And believe it or not, Amber, I'm just going to throw this in here at number 3 because Star Wars figures did not make my top 5, which seems crazy. But we had a fantastic time, my brother and I, collecting Star Wars figures. And so this is my number 3, maybe is collecting toys when you're a kid, just like everybody does. But like there's something about the Mask ones that I just loved, and I think so fondly about them. And that's the one toy that I often will go on eBay and just go, man, is there one that I could get another one? That'd be cool to put those on the shelf. Mm-hmm. And Star Wars would be great, but it gets expensive. And Mask is just a little bit different, and so I'm not a one-trick pony. I like Mask.
They had like masks, I suppose, or helmets or something, didn't they?
Yeah.
Things to put on their heads?
And they had masks or helmets that shot lasers and stuff.
I think they were a really high-quality little piece.
Oh, they were great.
I definitely played with them as well.
Did your brothers have them?
Oh, yeah.
So my number 3, collecting Mask toys.
All right. I think your Mask comes up as much as my friend's TV show
that
does.
Could be.
All right, my number 2 hobby, something I do 2 or 3 times a year, but I really enjoy.
Like 2 or 3 times as much as you rock paint.
Exactly. It is puzzles, jigsaw puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoy a nice jigsaw puzzle. And I have a little criteria when I'm choosing one. I am not the person who wants to do 5 white kittens in the snow. Mm-hmm. That does not appeal to me whatsoever. No. I really like a puzzle that's going to have a lot of variety to it, not any huge expanse of grass or sky that's going to really bog you down, but I want to have something going on in most parts of the puzzle, and I want to see variety so that when I pick up a piece, I have a general idea of where it's going to go. Mm-hmm. I also don't really want to do a puzzle that is more or less than 1,000 pieces. A 1,000-piece puzzle, to me, is perfect for my needs.
Okay.
Less than that feels like maybe it's for a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And more than that just feels a little ridiculous.
Wow.
So what I like to do is set up a card table in front of the TV, of course, TV, and spread out the puzzle. I did a lot of puzzles of like a countryside, or they were kind of like country-ish style puzzles because they would have the field of corn and the field of barley and the field of wheat, and they would all be different colors, so I'd be able to find out where the pieces go, more or less, or a bunch of different buildings. Now Barnes & Noble has a pretty good collection of puzzles with a variety of things that don't all look the same, which is what I want in a puzzle. So I dump out the puzzle. Go ahead.
I like those kind of cartoony ones where there's a bunch of kind of weird buildings.
Oh, yes,
and there's
I
a
love
bunch
that.
of like these little people doing kind of odd things.
Yeah, that meets my needs. So you pick up a piece and you're like, this guy looks like he's jumping off a diving board in a duck suit. Oh, okay, where can I find him? Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's perfect. Yes. So I dump out the puzzle. First thing is to flip over all the pieces. As I'm doing that, I'm trying to separate edges from not edges. And then I do build the edges first. I want a nice big display. A lot of puzzle boxes are small nowadays. Mm-hmm. And I really like being able to prop up the box to look at the picture I'm making. The small box puzzles usually come with a fold-out picture of what the puzzle's supposed to look like, but that's harder to prop up. So that's not ideal. But after I work on the edge, then I just pick something that I'm seeing a lot of pieces of and build that, and then try to attach it to the edge.
I feel like you are, like, aliens landed and had never been to Earth or seen.
So you're
this.
telling me this is the way everyone does a puzzle?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think everybody's as controlling as I am about doing the edge first and flipping over all the pieces before you begin.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like if somebody's going to start a puzzle with me, they just start putting pieces together, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I still see a lot of the back of puzzle pieces.
Interesting.
It is not time yet.
I would love to get some listener feedback on how you attack a puzzle. Has Amber just given us like puzzle 101, or are you like, whoa, I've never considered this the outer edge. Oh, with like all the flat pieces and putting those together first.
I don't think everybody does that.
Really?
I think other people would be like, oh, this looks like the dragon. I'm going to start working on the dragon.
Yeah.
Like, what about the sky? You got to do that first.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, if there was a dragon, I would be drawn to that immediately and want to get that dragon finished up. Maybe I might just stop at the dragon.
Oh.
So
maybe.
We've not done a lot of dragon puzzles.
No,
but I would love one.
It would have to be multiple small dragons to meet my criteria. We did get a new puzzle for vacation, and it's all different cereal boxes, which reminds me of our cereal episodes.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
We had a whole arc about cereal.
Yes. Some people's favorite arc.
Yeah. So I will have to share. Maybe we'll just put the puzzle out and see how many people follow my standards.
Oh, yeah, that'll be very interesting. And then they'll listen to this after the fact, and they'll be like, oh, whoops.
Man, Amber was mad the whole time.
That's why Amber didn't talk to me the second half of vacation. All right. Amber, that's a great one.
Thank you. Number 2, puzzles.
My number 2 is another thing that I started doing in high school with my friend Mark Morey.
This is crazy to me because I feel like you have so many hobbies right now, and you're going to not share any of them.
No, well, this is so good.
Okay.
So in our freshman year, Mark and I picked up guitars for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And we started playing guitar. We had a book of Beatles songs, and so we would just sit together and play and sing Beatles songs. You know, Norwegian Wood has like 2 chords in it, and so we did that one quite a bit. And we both enjoyed that, and so he started playing the bass, and I started playing the guitar, and then we started a bunch of bands. As you may remember, we started 3 Swell Guys and Acid Fest, which was awesome. There's a bunch of fun guys. Rooster, was and then the last one we were in Social Blunder,
right.
And Social Blunder was pretty great. We played a couple of shows here and there, and me and Mark and Jeff, and it was just a great season of life. And I still play the guitar, not in a band. I play on the worship team at church, of course. But I love that hobby, and I'm just grateful for just the friends I've made because of being a guitar player and because of being part of this band. You meet this other person, and you just meet a lot of people. You meet a lot of people that have they're just cool, and they're writing songs, and you're writing songs, and Mark and I learned a lot about writing and being creative and working with other people, and how do you communicate? I wrote this song, and how do I tell the drummer what I want to do, and how do I tell, and then also being willing to learn. Like somebody's like, hey, your chorus went like this, but what if you did this, and being willing to kind of step back and go, oh, that's better. Yeah, let's try that, and being collaborative. And I just love that, and I loved. Obviously, we didn't get big, but we would dream about, what if we could be professionals? What if we could go on the road? What if we could do a tour? And just those dreams and that time of life was so amazing. And now, I still play guitar at church and have a bunch of friendships that because of that. And it's just such a great thing to do, being musical and playing guitar. And it's my number 2 hobby, I guess. I would love to collect guitars. That'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be cool. But playing guitars is a hobby for sure.
Playing guitars is a hobby, and it was great. So there you go.
I think that's really cool. I definitely think you still use some skills that you started learning way back then when it comes to leading teams and communicating with drummers and everything. And I think that you put a lot of, I wonder if that was one of the first things that you really put a lot of effort into of your own choice.
Oh, yeah.
Lots and lots of hours of practicing and playing and writing songs.
Yeah, because my mom, and dad made us take piano lessons when I was young, and it never really clicked. I obviously learned some basics, but when we decided to start playing guitar, it was like the cool thing, and found out, oh, I'm pretty good at this, and it's fun, and yeah. Wonderful.
The style of music that you wanted to play, you're not going to learn that through a music instructor at the music store or whatever. So you really had to teach yourself.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So
yeah, I think that's really cool that you did that.
Yeah. So my number 2, playing guitar.
Playing guitar. My number 1 hobby, I think it's a hobby, is reading.
Oh, that is definitely a hobby.
Yeah,
Amber.
I love to read. I've talked about that a lot on the podcast before, that I read myself to sleep every night, and I just get really excited. We just went to the library this morning, and I just love the library. It always feels like just this world of possibilities. There could be some really exciting thing in there. And my younger brother and I were talking about how our mom kind of influenced our love of reading and kind of just taught us that you can have all these adventures and use your imagination and get a little escape from regular life just in the pages of a book.
Yeah.
And that we definitely both still do that. And it's really fun and relaxing, and I think I use it at night to kind of help my mind shut off so that I can settle into sleep. And I just love it when I find a book that's hard to put down. I don't have that as often as I'd like, but
So what would you say was the last book that you had a hard time putting down?
The Orphan Train.
The Orphan Train.
The Orphan Train. So I had told everybody about the Velvet Coat, and I hadn't finished it yet. I want to say that it had a really predictable ending. It was a nice ending, but it was a little too sweet. I don't know. It was just kind of blah, and it made me think that maybe that's not the best writing. So I don't know if I fully would recommend that one. But The Orphan Train was fantastic. That was a book about kind of a punk teenage girl who's in the foster system and got caught, I think, shoplifting, had to do some community service, and she starts helping this old lady who wanted to clean out her attic. And the old lady, turns out, was an Irish immigrant in the early 1900s and her family died when she was really little, and she was put on a orphan train and sent from New York City to like Minnesota or Wisconsin on this train. And then you just get off the train and you hope that some family takes you in.
Oh, wow.
And most of the people were there to get kids to either help on the farm or help take care of their other kids. They weren't there because they wanted to lovingly adopt a child, and she just had a really rough life. So she was telling her story, the old lady was, to the young punk girl, and they formed this friendship. But the story of what this orphan girl went through was amazing. Wow. And the other girl's an orphan too, the foster kids, so they kind of had that in common. And it was really neat.
Awesome.
It was really cool. It definitely made me think that the life of an immigrant coming to the United States is not great.
It'd be tough.
Maybe it's better than it was then. And it also reminded me of Anne of Green Gables, because Matthew and Marilla go to get an orphan, I'm assuming, off of a train.
Yeah.
And she wants him to get a boy to help on the farm, and he brings back Anne. And they're mad, but they grow to love her. And let me tell you, Anne had it a lot better than this lady in the Orphan Train book. But it was great. I would highly recommend that one.
There you go. A top 5 and a book recommendation.
Yes. So my number 1, reading.
So my number 1, Amber, we finally got to...
we didn't have any overlap.
We didn't have any overlap. We'll see. My number 1, games. This is a broad catch-all.
It is very
category.
broad. That's nice.
There's so many games. I love board games. I love role-playing games. I love currently playing a lot of Star Wars Destiny, which is a card collecting and dice game. That one works because it's a collection and a hobby. So for my birthday, I got an entire box of the brand new set, Star Wars Destiny set, the Way of the Force, and I've been building decks and looking at cards. And what's so fun about Star Wars Destiny is that you open these boosters, and you don't know what's in there, and there's always something exciting.
Yay.
There's usually something exciting. Sometimes it's disappointing. But
that's a feature of many collectibles.
Yes,
that you get these booster type packs,
and
right?
that's how they get. And they sell for $3, and you're like, man, I can get one for $3.
I mean, but you're not going to just get one.
Yeah, well, might as well
you're going to get out the debit card. Yeah,
exactly. And so last night, as we record this, my friends and I got together and we did a Star Wars Destiny draft, and we probably played for 6 hours or something, Star Wars Destiny last night, and it was so much fun. And it's not just about the some guys are really into the strategy and are going to win. Like, I've given up on trying to win. It's not my strength, but I enjoy building. I love the camaraderie. I like the friendship. And we just talk about, mostly inconsequential stuff, but in the midst of kind of a busy life with school and church can sometimes be intense and stuff. It's nice to just have this this is just, there's nothing important happening right now. We're just letting our hair down, hanging out with some friends, eating some snacks, playing some games. And we did a whole episode on my favorite board games. And if you're interested, you can go back and listen to that. And so that's what I'm excited on this, our vacation coming up. I'm planning to bring a good stack of board games and twisting the arm of my family to
Aaron
play.
and Bobby Joe brought an entire carry-on full of board games.
I know, it's going to be so much fun. And it's such a fun hobby, and that you strategy, and you can get lost in these different, most games nowadays are kind of immersive, and they draw you into the setting or the story of the game, and that is fun for me. Kind of like you for reading, it's kind of an escape. And so
absolutely.
Games, a couple nights ago, we stayed up very late playing Battlestar Galactica, the board game, and it was so fun. And you're trying to figure out who the Cylon is, and anyway, so fun. I love board games. I love collecting games. I love getting a new game. I love reading instruction books. And
that's good.
So there you go. My number one hobby, games. Segment 2, a quiz.
A quiz. I didn't title it anything.
You didn't title it anything, and last time you did not like my questioning. I said a quiz, and you didn't love that. So I said it very matter-of-factly. A quiz. This is definitely a quiz. Amber, what is this quiz all about?
It's about hobbies and collectibles, weird hobbies and collectibles that are out there.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about some of the weirdest hobbies, but I thought rather than just list them, I'm going to make it into a quiz.
I love it.
So there's 7 questions. They're multiple choice. We are going to be playing for Audrey today.
Oh, fantastic.
Audrey Miller. So if we win, she will get a sticker.
Nice.
How this quiz is going to work is that I'm going to read the description of a hobby or a collector's item. Collecting is a hobby. Anyway, I'm going to read the description I got off of a website or Wikipedia, leaving out the keywords that would give away the hobby. And then you're going to guess from multiple choice what this hobby was about. Okay. Number 1. This is an extreme sport which takes people to remote locations. Part of the attraction and interest the media has shown towards this hobby seems to center on the issue of whether it is really a sport or not. It is widely considered to be tongue-in-cheek.
Okay.
Some locations where such performances have taken place include a mountainside of a difficult climb, a forest, in a canoe, while skiing or snowboarding, on top of large bronze statues, in the middle of the street, underwater, in the middle of the M1 motorway, whilst parachuting, and under the ice sheet of a frozen lake. The performances have been conducted solo or by groups.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 4 things of what this hobby could be.
Okay.
It's extreme something. So I'm going to put the word extreme before each thing. Okay. Is it extreme shaving?
Okay.
Extreme ironing? Extreme teeth brushing? Extreme taking selfies? Extreme selfies.
Extreme selfies. Extreme teeth brushing. Extreme ironing. Extreme shaving. I would not want to shave while I was skiing or underwater or on a mountainside. Ironing makes no sense. Ironing. Extreme ironing. I think everybody that does anything extreme is taking selfies, so I'm knocking that one right off. So I'm down to... What is it? So I'm down to shaving, ironing, and teeth brushing.
That's correct.
I'm going to say extreme ironing.
That is the right answer. Extreme ironing.
Extreme ironing. So there's actual people arguing whether it's an actual thing or not.
Whether it's a sport.
It's a sport. It doesn't sound like a sport.
It says, according to the Extreme Ironing Bureau,
Wow.
it's the latest danger sport that combines that combines the thrills of extreme outdoor activity with the satisfaction of a well-pressed shirt.
Wow. That's incredible.
It was started in 1980. There's a couple of brothers, and they went camping, and one of the brothers ironed his clothes while camping in the tent, and the other brother thought that was unnecessary and ridiculous. So then he started taking pictures of himself ironing in weird and ridiculous places, and then it just gradually grew, and now it's like a thing.
That's very cool. I love that. All right.
So extreme ironing, there's even a documentary called Extreme Ironing Pressing for Victory. It's in Great Britain.
I love it.
So that was the first one. You got it right. All right. The next one is blank herding.
Blank herding.
Blank herding. Blank herding has become something of a cult corporate activity in recent years, as each week employees pull on Wellingtons and chase blank around a field with a stick. Its popularity has surprised even Owen, who began 15 years ago at a small show in nearby Landelio with a group of blank. These days he travels 25,000 miles a year, entertaining clients from a range of blue-chip industries, working with everyone from the cleaners to the directors. Blank herding is a great leveler, says Owen. People have to communicate and use their initiative. You can do clay pigeon shooting or archery anywhere, but working with a sheepdog is an experience they remember forever. The competitive element appeals to all ages, but you also need patience. Energetic and easy to please, blank hurdle through tunnels and down slides in a closely knit group before being driven into the pen. Once you've gotten one through an obstacle, the rest tend to follow, but occasionally one will play up, adding to the comedy. It's the perfect antidote to the office routine. If Owen is a dog man, he's also at home with clients. We never try to embarrass anyone, he said. I always try to help. With blank herding, there's the sense of the unexpected, and seeing a manager lose control of his blanks is great entertainment for the staff. It's also a relatively affordable corporate day out. Prices start from around £600.
Okay.
So, what are they herding? Are they herding guinea pigs, rabbits, ducks, or roosters?
Boy. I'm going to say ducks.
You're right again.
Wow. I just think a rooster would be very hard to herd.
Dangerous.
Guinea pigs, rabbits. I think I can picture in my mind the herding of ducks.
Okay.
I think maybe from that duck book that we.
Okay. Sure.
And
that would help.
So that's why I went with ducks.
All right.
Seems like something you could herd.
Yes.
If cats would have been on there, I probably would have said that.
Ooh,
herding cats. You ever heard of that?
I have.
Okay.
It's a lot like teaching preschool. All right. 2 for 2. Number 3.
We're going to win this, Audrey.
Okay. This next hobby involves traveling blank, which get around by being passed from person to person. Their travels and adventures are tracked on a website. Each blank carries a unique identification number on a tag. A message on the tag encourages anyone who comes in contact with it to go to the website and update its travel log, including photographs of where it has been. To continue its journey, the blank is then either passed on to someone else directly or released into the wild for someone to find. This is known as a wild release. Taking inspiration from the traveling gnome in the film Amélie. This project was created to see if it would be possible for blank to travel by themselves. The aim was for the blank to become travel companions, able to go places, do things, meet people, and have all their adventures captured in photographs. With more than 5,000 people from all over the world joining the project, it has become an international community in its own right. More than 3,000 blanks have been created and sent on their travels since the website began.
I want to do this so badly.
Do you really?
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Do you want to guess what it is before you hear that?
I mean, I was going to say gnome, but then you used that.
Oh, yeah, that would have been.
So I don't know exactly. There's so many things that could travel and get their picture taken.
All right. Do you think it is a postcard, a family photo, a toy, or a rock?
Oh, my goodness. I don't think it's the first thing you said. A postcard? Too easy. Who's going to take a picture of a postcard? The one I'm leaning towards is a rock because it seems kind of crazy. Maybe you could paint it in a wild color. Maybe you could do some sort of a careful rock painting. I mean, obviously careful not
kind of goes with my hobby.
Goes with your hobby. I don't want to paint something, dark, spiritually on it. I'm gonna go with rock. That's where I'm leaning.
Yeah, that was a good MacGuffin I threw at you. It is toys.
Toys?
It's called Toy Voyager. They're Toy Voyagers. And it can be any, like in the picture, there's a teddy bear or there's, who's that? SpongeBob's friend. Patrick the sea star.
Huh.
So you can pick any toy you want, and then people take pictures with your toy.
Sounds like stuffed toys, the way you're describing it.
Yeah, I would recommend not a stuffed toy because it'd be more likely, especially if you're going to do a wild release.
Yeah. I don't really want to start one as much as I want to be in the middle of the travels of a toy.
You want to pick one up, do something with it, take a picture, and send it on its way.
Yeah. So I love that. Maybe we could take something to Israel and pass it on to somebody in Israel.
Oh, man. Maybe. I don't know how you find the things that are already out there. Maybe we should go on the website and see. Maybe there's one close to us.
I love that.
It reminds me a little bit of one of the kids in elementary school did the Flat Stanley project. Mm-hmm. He's a book, so they did it was a flat Emma. So she drew herself on a piece of paper and folded it up. And then you're supposed to send it to somebody who lived far away for them to take pictures. And she sent it to Aaron and Bobby Joe, who live in the Seattle area. And they took pictures of it by the Nintendo headquarters and Microsoft and this Space Needle and all those things. So, yeah, it reminds me of that.
Okay, that's cool. I love that.
Toy Voyager is what the hobby's called.
All right, well, I missed one.
Uh-oh. We're still doing okay.
Yes.
All right, number 5.
Number 5? I thought we were on 4.
Does that mean I only have 6 of these and not 7? Oh, I only have 6.
That's all right. They're great.
Okay. Here we go. Number 5. No. Number 4. Number 4. Collectors of aviation memorabilia are an enthusiastic bunch, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a group of aficionados quite as impassioned as these, those who search near and far for blank. According to the Blank Hall of Fame website, serious collectors are oft maligned, always misunderstood, but are heroic individuals who have taken on themselves the onerous task of preserving the world's blank heritage for future generations. Introduced by Northwest Orient Airlines in 1949, this is slowly vanishing from most commercial airlines.
Man.
Like any coterie of collectors, the blank community boasts its own luminaries. Dutchman Niek Vermeulen has a collection of 6,290 of these, collected from 200 countries as of February 2012, and he's recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. Massachusetts-based Steve Silberberg is the curator of the Blank Virtual Museum. And that's it.
Okay.
So what are these people collecting aviation memorabilia? Is it airline sick bags, plastic pilot pins, in-flight magazines, or labeled airline napkins?
That makes no sense. These are disappearing. Somebody somewhere in your description said these are disappearing.
Introduced by Northwest Orient Airlines in 1949, is slowly vanishing from major commercial airlines.
Napkins, sick bags, pins. What was the fourth one?
In-flight magazines.
I'm going to say pins, I guess. Because I think I was just on a plane, there were sick bags. I was just on a plane, there were napkins. I'm going to say those pins, because those seem pretty awesome. And yeah, that would be fun to collect. Way more fun than a sick bag. What was the other one? Oh, in-flight magazines? I don't remember there being one. I'm going with pins. Pins.
That is not the correct answer. I do think that whoever wrote this probably threw you off because it is airline sick bags.
Really?
Yeah. It's possible that what is slowly vanishing are the variety. I don't know. Because these people that have these collections, they're individual. This guy has 6,290 different airline sick bags. And there's been certain airlines that have hired like designers, and they've done a series of 20 different designed
That
sick
is
bags.
crazy.
Yeah. So there's a guy called Big Barf Bob who has 1,800 sick bags, and he has a hat that says "Barf Bags Wanted" that he wears around.
Wow, that is I should have gone with the crazy. Everything made no sense, and
I don't see how they're going to get rid of them. You got to have something for people to throw open.
Yeah,
but it does say slowly vanishing from the seat back pocket. So maybe you have to ask a stewardess for one now if you want one.
Yeah, maybe that was it. So when we flew into Japan, it was a very, very rough ride, and people definitely got sick in some bags.
Huh.
So I don't remember how they got them. I just made an assumption. I'll check when I fly to Mexico in a couple months. I'll look for those.
Yeah, you have to report back to us.
Okay.
Maybe you should just grab one in case you want to start a collection.
Does Jill listen? Jill would know.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Jill, what's the sick bag situation on your international travels?
Yeah, she's a big traveler.
Okay.
So. Keep us posted. All right. So we have one more. This would be number 6 then. Some collections are ridiculous just for the sake of being ridiculous. Take Ryan Beats's quest to own every single blank in the world, for example. Beats, a resident of Moscow, Idaho, is probably the biggest fan of blank on Earth and has accumulated hundreds of copies of this. Beats also accepts donations of similar items, but only to be used to trade for more blank. He has a blog, Facebook page, and Kickstarter for what he refers to as the Blank Project, which is just pretentious enough to be awesome. So what is this guy collecting? He wants every single copy of this that exists on the earth.
Okay.
Is it the first issue of the Reader's Digest? Is it VHS copies of the movie Speed? Is it bottles of New Coke? Or is it the New Kids on the Block Hanging Tough Single?
Oh, boy. I'm going to say it's not New Coke. What was the first one?
First issues of the Reader's Digest.
Boy, I need this one to win for Audrey. I wish I could call her and see what she thought. Because I am leaning towards either Speed or New Kids. I'm going to go with Speed. VHS copies of Speed.
And Audrey wins a sticker.
Yay!
He has thousands of VHS copies of the movie Speed.
That's incredible.
I thought that was funny. And he has a Kickstarter and a Facebook page. That's for people to send him. If people send him a Blu-ray or a DVD, he will take it, but he will trade it to somebody else for their VHS copy.
VHS copy. That is amazing. I love that.
Yeah. He's working on transforming his own personal van to look like the bus from the Speed movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So I love that. There's one that I thought that maybe I'd stumbled onto something that you were going to mention. But there is this thing, Amber, in Lucas, Kansas, that is like a small bus, bus, and it's the world's largest collection of the world's smallest versions of the world's largest things, traveling roadside attraction.
World? I love that so much.
And so it's this bus full of miniature versions of huge things.
Oh my gosh.
And I just love the name of it.
What a great idea.
The world's largest collection of the world's smallest versions of the world's largest things.
Oh, my word.
And so the bus is just recently broken down, and so they have changed vehicles. But inside there, they'll have they have a miniature version of the world's largest ball of videotape. They have a small version of the world's largest ball of twine.
Okay. It's not like a blue whale or something. It's
the world's largest thing, but they have a miniature version. They have a miniature version of the world's largest Babe the Blue Ox.
Oh my gosh.
It's just like the greatest.
Does it travel?
It travels.
Is it coming near us?
I think we'd have to go to Kansas. It seems like it kind of hangs out there, and there's just
my
this
word, what a
lady.
great idea.
Her name is Erica Nelson, and she is, I don't know if she makes all the little weird things, but it's a great collection, it seems, based on this thing I found.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us for episode 26. We would love to hear from you. You can leave feedback in a variety of ways. You can find us on the actual episode that will be posted on Twitter or Facebook and comment on that. You could also email us at segments@gmail.com. You can comment on our Instagram page. You could just post directly on our page, or you can comment on a post that we've already put.
Oh, yeah. And Audrey, you could use any of those forms of communication to let us know where to send that sticker.
I wouldn't do your address on something public.
Oh.
I think you should do a fun post about, hey, I won, publicly, and then send us a private message,
that's
Facebook
good.
message, or email to let us know your address.
That's wiser. Good job, Amber. So please, we would love it if you would subscribe and share the show. The only way new people find out about the show is through you guys. Amber and I have told everybody that we know and all of our friends.
Yeah.
And many of them listen to a few of the episodes. And we would love to build our listenership. And so if you could subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify or on your favorite podcast player, that would be awesome. And if you could tell somebody else about the show, we would love that. And if you enjoy it and you think, I know somebody else that would find this interesting as well, we would love the getting the word out.
Absolutely. We want to, as always, thank our daughter Emma for creating our logo and graphics. She's studying graphic design at college. If you like her. Does that sound official?
So good. Oh, at college.
If you would like her to draw you something, she's taking commissions. You can find her on Twitter at @ofhauntings.
Yes, and we would also like to thank our nephew Gabriel, EDM Samurai, for the intro and outro music. You can find him on SoundCloud by searching EDM Samurai. All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed the show. Go out there and collect something.
Mm-hmm. You can let us know your hobbies.
Let us know your hobbies and feedback them to us.
Yeah.
Feedback them to us?
Feedback them to us.
Maybe that could be your hobby, giving us feedback.
Hey, Saggies. Give us some feedback. Like any coterie, I just like the description. Like any coterie of collectors. Sorry. Like any coterie of collectors.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
You can't say coterie?
I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. I think. Number 4, because apparently there's only 6 questions instead of 7.
Okay.
Number 4, collectors of aviation memorabilia are an enthusiastic bunch, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a group of aficionados quite as impassioned as these. Those who search near and far for blank. Oh, dear.
Oh, my goodness.
According to the Blank Hall of Fame website, serious collectors are oft maligned, always misunderstood, but are heroic individuals who have taken on themselves the onerous task of preserving the world's blank heritage for future generations. Introduced by Northwest Orient Airlines in 1949, this is slowly vanishing from major commercial airlines. Like any coterie of collectors,
Amber Morris.
This is why I usually do the quizzes. Oh, no.
You gotta keep
Collectors. Coterie of Collectors.
Coterie of Collectors.
Coterie of Collectors. Like any coterie of collectors. Okay. All right,
Okay,
so it's
what
still
I'd like
running?
you to do is to start back at number 4.
Seriously? Really?
So I don't know. There's so much.
You're right. Okay. I just think I'm... Okay.
All right. And so this time, think about dead kittens.
Okay.
They're very sad.
They are.
Nobody collects them. Think about what else is sad? Stubbing your toe. It's very sad.
Okay.
They just canceled some television show that you like.
Big Brother.
They canceled Big Brother. They said, it's not worth it.
Okay. All right.
There it is.
Like any coterie of collectors,